So once I create the settings file, um, actually I can have now if we are looking a using a local host, you can have your settings file something like this, right? um, so rather than using the host name your Mercury server, you can use local host, and then root and the password. I just keep it no password there. Just test my that's my database, right? And then when it comes to then what I need to have is a file for the connection, right? Now this is how my connection file looks like. Now um, the connection file, PHP file, I include my settings PHP, and then I use MySQL connect function. Now remember, I'm not using MySQL connect, so this is the improved version, improved function. Please refer to last week videos where I have explained this. So now remember that you need to pass these parameters in a correct order: host, user, password, and your database. And then I assign it to a variable called con. Actually what happened is it created an object called con. That's the outcome of this particular function, MySQL connect function, right? So then now just please ignore this one. I just print using print that I want to find out what is inside this connection objects. That's why I'm trying to use print function. Now just imagine that if I don't have this, I just have a if statement. I'm just checking whether the connection is successful or unsuccessful, right? If there is a connection object is created is true, then I need to have a message displayed in the browser connection is successful, right? And if it is successful, then I can actually have all my other database operations going on here, right? Select, insert, create, whatever, right? And then once I have done all these database operation, finally I use my SQLi close function to close this connection object, right? Or close this connection, right? So I opened up connection and then I close the connection, right? Now that if my connection is successful, if not, connection is failed, right? So I need to display a message saying connection is failed, right? Now assume that if I don't have a this printer, what will happen if the connection is successful? So if I successfully insert the data, and if I run that PHP file, connection PHP file, I will get this message, right? Because the connection is successful. But if I change the connection setting, for example, if I put a kind of a false username like this, and if I trying to rerun the connection, I'll actually getting a fatal error like this, and then connection fail message, right? Connection fail message. Now this fatal message, this error message generated by PHP function, or sorry, PHP engine itself, right? And then it displays this and it displays our message, right? That's what it actually does. So in the production environment, I don't want actually this. I don't want this messy PHP generated error message to display. I want only the user defined error message to display like this, right? So how can I stop displaying? How can I instruct PHP engine to stop displaying this fatal error? For example, access denied for user blah blah blah. So for that, what I can do is I can use the at sign to stop PHP error message. What do you mean by the at sign? So if I go to my connection file, I can just put the at in front of my SQLite connect. So if I put that, the email at sign. So if you put that sign, you will not get this particular warning message, but you will get only the user defined message called connection fail, like I defined here. So usually in the production environment we use at sign because we don't want PHP generated errors. But in a testing environment, like when you do your assignment or project work, maybe you can ignore this one because I want to get these error messages so I can actually find out what are the errors I have, so I can get rid of these errors. Now in this now this is actually I can use this in my connection file. You can see I just running a print function to find out what is inside the connection object. So if I run the this, my connection object will display something like this. Now I'm using the local host, so it has a lot of information, right? I can see the local server name. Now in your case, if you're running it in the Mercury, you will get your host detail, the Mercury server detail here, and then the database used, etc. So all these information probably useful in certain circumstances in order to do some testing. Um, so that's if the connection yeah, if it goes ahead. So I can actually use this template to do all the database operations. You can use this template, connection template. Now remember, I have a settings file, a separate setting PHP file, and then I have the connection file and a connection. Maybe you can use it as a template. You can use that sign there to stop PHP error message, and then I can use this gradually to include other database operation if it is connection is successful, such as create table, drop table, inserting records, updating record, delete the records, or selecting records, etc., etc. So all these can be done gradually if you use this template successfully.